Good evening and welcome back to another piano lesson with Warren. My name is Warren McPherson. Thank you for joining me again for another week of piano lesson. If you're new to this channel, every Wednesday there's a new tutorial that I release about piano technique, passing chords, licks, runs, song breakdown, everything you need to know about gospel piano. I release on this channel just to help you guys improve. My theme for this channel is to educate and empower gospel musicians to be the better version of themselves so they can contribute more to their church. In today's tutorial, we're going to talk about something a little bit different. It's going to be sort of a rant / direction. And again, this is all to help you get better. So I have a Facebook group over on Facebook. And there are a couple thousand people in the group, and there's a lot of questions that's posted there every day. And I keep track of those questions. I jump in and I answer some of them. I also got a lot of emails, message here on YouTube, Instagram, just all over the place. I get a lot of messages from you guys, which is great because it shows me that you're interested and you're eager to learn. But the thing that I'm noticing is that a lot of you guys not asking the right questions. And that's not necessarily your fault, but it's because you're trying to do this piano education thing on your own, and you're just sort of grasping on whatever knowledge come your way, and you're trying to learn about it. The problem with that method is that you get confused and overwhelmed, and you kind of do things backwards, which make the progress for you a lot harder. Now, what am I talking about? For example, I'll get a beginner say, "Hey, teach me about passing chords." And I would say, "But you're a beginner. This is not a beginner's concept." And you go, but passing chords are so cool. I wanna learn them. Yes, but you're a long ways away from learning passing chord. Or I'll get someone email me and say, "I'm an intermediate player." And I would say, "Can you play in all 12 major keys?" And they would say, "No, I can only play in 2 keys." Then you're not an intermediate player, you're a beginner. And so I get a lot of these questions, and they create a lot of confusion for you. And so the goal of this tutorial is to help you sort of give you a roadmap. So one, you can figure out where you are on your journey and what you need to be doing. Because I always say this, if you're self-taught, then most likely your foundation is not as strong as it should be. And so we got to get you back to beginner to do some foundation work. And I know that sounds like, what? I don't want to go back to beginner. I'm not a beginner. Being a beginner is not a bad thing. It's a great thing because it gives you the opportunity to fix the things that becomes massive roadblock for you later on. And so today I want to talk about the 4 categories that every musician should be focusing on. Doesn't matter if you're beginner, intermediate, or intermediate advanced. These are the 4 categories that we constantly focus on and we keep refining, we keep building on to get to the advanced level. Okay, so the first category is repertoire. And repertoire just simply means the songs that you need to be working on. Now, because on this channel we talk about gospel music and gospel piano, I'm gonna tailor this towards the gospel songs. So if you're working on gospel music, your sole job is to increase the amount of songs you know. Each week, you wanna be learning a new song. Notice I didn't say you need to be perfecting a new song, because this whole notion of perfection, it's a slippery slope. But you want to be working on new song, because this is when, over time, you'll begin to see the patterns that are very necessary to be able to recognizing chord progressions and hearing chord progressions and learning your songs a lot quicker. You start to see patterns, and so each week you try to learn a new song. Try to start working on a new song. Yeah? And so we call this the repertoire bucket, so to speak, the repertoire bucket. And I always recommend you spend at least 50% of your practice time on working songs, because at the end of the day, that's why we're learning the piano. so we can play the songs better. So you spend 50% of your time working on that. The next bucket is the theory. And what is theory? Theory is just being able to understand what you're playing. Understand why we move from a 1 to a 4. Why is the 4 major and not minor? If I want to throw a dominant 7th chord on it, what does it do to the progression when I do that? You know, it's understanding what's happening in music and understanding, once you make a decision, how it triggers certain possibilities. It's basically just understanding everything you hear and play. That's the theory. Now, because everything we do involves theory, I give that a 10%. Spend 10% analyzing the piece you're playing, analyzing the music, see what's happening, see where stuff repeats. Yeah? See how the chord progression flows. What are majors? What are minors? Is there diminish? Is there secondary dominance? Yeah? All these different things involve theory. And so you can spend 10 minutes just trying to wrap your head around it and understand what's happening. So that's bucket number 2. Category number 2. The third one now is ear training. 20% I give to ear training. Ear training is important, especially for gospel musicians. We do everything by ear. And so if you're not day after day strengthening your ear, doing your practicing, then you're missing out. That's something you want to implement. And on a side note, I just released a full course, ear training for intermediate, beginners and intermediate, over at pianolessonwithwarren.com. So if you really want to know more about that, head over there and check it out. Ear training got to be a part of your practicing. And what is ear training? It's similar to theory. It's being able to hear all the things that's happening and to be able to tell what's happening on the piano. So you can hear a piece of music and you can sit at the piano and you can pick it out, pick out the chords, pick out the runs, pick out the bass line. Now there's a process to build and get to that level. That's why I created that ear training